jump up, people, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hand. It's time to...
Good morning, everyone, and welcome again to On Tour as we look back at the West Indies and South Africa series being played, of course, in St. Lucia at the Darren Sammy Cricket Stadium. I'm Barry Wilkinson. Thank you so much for joining us here on FlowSports. Before we get to the match, let's review and rewind what happened yesterday. A look at the scorecard tells the tale of what has happened. Pure South African domination. A day that belonged to Quinton de Kock, the man from Johannesburg who made a brilliant 141 not out as South Africa made 322 in response to the West Indies' very paltry 97. The West Indies were still limping at stumps. On 82 for 4, they trail by 143 runs. And so far, we've seen a good partnership there, Bill, between Roston Chase and Jermaine Blackwood. But generally, it has been pure South African domination. De Kock 141. Aiden Markham, of course, the previous day made 60. And Van der Dusen made 46. Jason Holder, 4 for 75, just on the brink of another 5-wicket haul. He really bowled tirelessly and looked in good stead. And Jaden Seals didn't add to his 3-wicket haul for the previous day. He finished with 3 for 75. Kemar Roach, 2 for 64. So then, so much work for the West Indies to do on day 3. It's been a very tough test match for them so far. They have played unbeaten for the year against Bangladesh and against Sri Lanka, but you can safely say that this is the first real stern test of good bowling that the West Indies team are getting, and they don't seem to be handling it very well. But let's get some expert comments now. Of course, Clive Lloyd, former test captain and great batsman. Johnny Barron, not as accomplished with the bat, but with his mouth. He has been certainly a great commentator for the BBC and, of course, international correspondent. And Tino Best, the former West Indies and Barbados speedster. So, Clive, let's start with you. 82 for 4, Windies in a lot of trouble. What's the approach going into day number 3?
Well, the point is, Barry, it's obvious that they're facing these quicks a bit of a problem. And the South Africans are bowling the right sort of line. Still, some of the shots are a bit airy-fairy. But I wonder what help do they get from the groundsperson? Because I thought that if the groundsman is preparing a pitch, that he should give you some idea of what will happen at least in the first couple of hours of that pitch. And if the West Indies were given that sort of advice, I wondered if it would have been better, in the sense that South Africa lost 4 test matches before coming here. They arrived 5 days before the test series. They played a 2-day game, and probably wouldn't it have been better to put them in so that they probably couldn't have acclimatized as well and as quickly as they should. And so I thought we made a bit of a boo-boo in not bowling when the pitch would have given us the necessary help. But they're 84. It's obvious that it's an uphill task, but let's hope that the vice captain and Mr. Chase do come good tomorrow.
Johnny, I pressed this question to other pundits, and I mean, technically the West Indies had to bat sometime, and the quicks, they obviously would have been delivering the same quality stuff. Many people have made a lot about the toss, Johnny. From your perspective and covering cricket throughout the world, how much does that difference make getting the advantage, batting or bowling first?
I think it's a massive advantage. I mean, you only have to look at the history of this ground in St. Lucia. When Mark Wood blew the West Indies away 5 for 42, he was man of the match on the last occasion when the West Indies were blown away twice by England in England's only win on the tour. Shannon Gabriel, the time before that, was man of the match. And this is one of the liveliest surfaces in the Caribbean, certainly at this time of year. And what astounds me, actually, is that normally, because the West Indies have always been a little vulnerable at that top order, and 10 out of the last 12 tosses the West Indies have won, they have elected to field first. It beggars belief when the conditions that were presented for this game were fairly clear that it was going to favour the bowlers, that they elected to have a bit of a bat. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Tino, the pitch still looks good. Having said all of that, 82 for 4. Do you back the West Indies? Do they have it within themselves, to those batsmen to come, to pull back this test match and even perhaps try and avoid an innings defeat? Your thoughts at the close of play on day 2?
It's all about pride. Going into the third day, Barry, I don't like to see a 3-day test match, honestly, Barry, but that looks like it's on the cards. The way that South Africans are bowling, the way how Nokia is bowling, the way how Rabada, oh my gosh, he bowls some man deliveries. He is a quality bowler. And look, all the West Indies have to do is play for pride. Ross and Chase, coming back into the team. This is a wonderful opportunity for you to get some runs. And if the West Indies can battle the day, it will be a wonderful accomplishment on that surface. But really and truly, West Indies, our first class pitches are not like this. So I was very surprised that we won the toss and elected to bat. And I am just still bemused in terms of why we batted first. But we are a professional unit. We have to grab the opportunity whenever it presents itself. So either bowl first or bat first. You have to make a good account of yourself. But really and truly, West Indies are behind the 8 ball, and I don't see this game going into the 4th day.
So, Clive, who better to talk to than yourself about Quinton de Kock, a left-handed batsman of some class and some repute? This is his 6th Test century. You yourself were a very top left-handed batsman. What makes Quinton de Kock so special? The 28-year-old from Johannesburg, stroking 141. Talk me through that innings.
Well, he's fearless. There's no doubt about that. You see how he plays in the T20 game. He opens in the T20 game. He hits the ball quite well. He's that sort of pugnacious sort of player, and he showed all the signs that were necessary. It looks like when he was captain that it restricted his play. Now he's free to do his stuff, and he's proven that he is a top class wicketkeeper batsman, and he's probably in the same mold as the Australian wicketkeeper and the others that the wicketkeepers that do make runs. And I think he's a joy to watch, and I hope that he doesn't make too many more for against the West Indies in the next Test match.
Yeah, you're talking to think about Adam Gilchrist. Johnny, if you had to rack up Quinton de Kock's career, previous best was 129 not out. He seems to do much better when he's not opening the batting. And as Sir Clive just made the point, when he's not captaining as well, he seems to be much more freed up. Your thoughts on de Kock and how he has played such a pivotal role for South Africa? He's only 28.
Yeah, I mean, I think Quinton de Kock was just tailor-made for this match situation. You're faced with a very low first innings score that the West Indies made, and South Africa needed to take the advantage. And what Quinton de Kock did was he was quite watchful yesterday, but the beginning this morning against Roach, who was a little untidy first up, he absolutely hammered him in that first sort of 20 minutes, half an hour or so, and never really stepped his foot off the gas. Very impressive. In Pakistan, of course, he averaged, I think, around about 10 across the 4 innings he played out there, and he's been in poor form. But now he's released of the captaincy. You can see what a stroke player he is as well. And 7 sixes in that innings, that's a record for South Africa in tests alongside A.B. de Villiers. A truly class knock today.
All right, you're watching On Tour. When we come back, Tino Best, the former fast bowler himself, is going to sum up the bowling of Jason Holder and Jaden Seals. When we come back, On Tour.
To the top, it's time to jump up. People, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hand. It's time to the top, it's time to jump up. People, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hand.
Welcome back to On Tour. The West Indies will resume shortly on 82 for 4, their second innings after being bowled out for 97. South Africa 322. Now, the day belonged to Quinton de Kock, we know that. But Tino Best, let's zone in a little bit on the fast bowling efforts of Jason Holder, the former captain and still the best all-rounder in world cricket. And we also look at Jaden Seals. Tino, take it away. How well did Jason bowl for his 4-wicket haul on day 2?
Yeah, I thought Jason bowled good lengths and good lengths. The wicket was very helpful. I don't think the West Indies bowled poorly as a bowling unit. I thought 322 is reasonable, Barry. I just thought that this morning that Mark started a little rusty and he got punished. I would have loved to see him pulling back the length. He bowled too much. He bowled too full, and that's something that he will rectify. Hopefully in the next step. I don't think they might get an opportunity to bowl again. But I thought I think young Jaden feels more well. Yesterday evening on the ending of the first day, I thought he bowled good lengths, got good carry as well. Look, he's going to get stronger. And as I said earlier, I think that Ronald Rogers is going to do a terrific job in strengthening him and getting him a lot stronger to do well in international cricket. But Jason continued to lead from the front. I thought that he continued to rally the guys, continued to encourage those guys. I thought he got a little frustrated at one point with the few placement of Craig Brathwaite, but that's a whole different story. But at the end of the day, I thought that 322 wasn't a bad effort to bowl South Africa in the first innings. It's just that we made 97.
Yes, difficult to come back from that after day one. So, Clive, no, we switched to the West Indies batting, and their batting again flopped. The batsman didn't seem to handle the opening burst of Rabada very well. He's got 2 wickets so far. When you look at how they have been dismissed, the West Indies batsmen, what are some of the errors they made that they lost their wickets to Clive Lloyd?
And I think the pitch was helping. It's no doubt about that. And some of them were beaten for pace. The ball in the first inning didn't swing around, so they weren't beaten with swing. They were beaten with pace. And some of the shots were not very good. They were sort of, as I said early on, some airy-fairy shots. And had we batted second, that there was less pace, and that was the time to bat. And I think our batting, we feel that we have to play more batters. If 7 batters can't win you, 8 will not. So I thought that we were a bowler short somewhere. And Alzari Joseph probably might have caused some concern because he's fairly lively. He can hold his own with the bat. And we probably might, even if we had made 150, it would have been a much better total. And I wonder at times when they have their meetings, what do they discuss? What would we want for a first innings total? And that should be the situation, regardless, if you win the toss or not. But the point is that the batters did not apply themselves in the first innings. And unfortunately, we've lost 4 wickets, but these 2 guys seem to be batting fairly well. And let's hope that they continue for some while, because you really don't want to be beaten by any innings.
Johnny, Sir Clive was suggesting that Alzari Joseph might have made a difference, but you look at the West Indies batting, and they've got supposedly batting all the way down to number 9. Do you think Alzari would have made a difference? And if he had played, who would he have played for? Because the West Indies seem to have got this team, according to them, pretty well balanced out.
Yeah, it's a really tricky one. I mean, I was looking at a lot of the WhatsApp chats amongst sort of West Indies cricket followers, and there was talk of 2 spinners, talking about Roston Chase as a second spinner in this side. But you must remember, Roston Chase, last time he played in St. Lucia, got 102 against England in that test match, the last one played here. He's primarily a bat. It's difficult to say. That would have been the obvious choice to play Joseph, I think, for Roston Chase. Then you had a little bit more dynamism with the ball potentially for the West Indies. But bottom line, as Sir Clive said, 2 big killers here. If the West Indies had made 150, 175, they would have been competitive. And of course, that 9th wicket partnership as well really took the game away from them. That was worth 89 between Nokia and de Kock, and that was another killer as well. The balance of the side, the toss, so many variables. I think they got a number of things wrong on this occasion.
Do you agree, Tino Best?
Yeah, absolutely. I always felt that Roston Chase, even though he got 100 last time he played in St. Lucia, I don't think that you needed him to play when you had Raheem Cornwall. You don't need 2 spinners. Use Azari as the third seamer, or even the third seamer, because you got 4 fast bowlers. The wicket was conducive for fast bowling. And I just want to touch on this comment, by watching the cricket today with the West Indies batting. You got to bat fast bowling. So Clay could second me on this. You can't play shots against fast bowling. Kalmir hit Nokia for 3-4 back to back, and then he got out in a ridiculous fashion. You got to bat fast bowling. You can't take on fast bowling. You got to cut certain shots out like a Steve Waugh, cut the pull shot out and bat fast bowling. Get behind fast bowling. Me as a former fast bowler, as guys are getting behind me and batting me, Barry, I got to rethink. I got to come with something. But guys are like playing 3 shots and then you're getting out. The bowler get your wicket for 12 runs. That is not Test cricket. That's Mickey Mouse cricket.
Yeah, very well said. You agree with that, Sir Clive Lloyd?
Well, the point is, as a fast bowler, if my fast bowlers, they will give you 4 fours if they can get you out for 16. You haven't really contributed that much. The point is, once you've gotten that far, then you dig in. And as I've said, in pitches of this nature, you have to bat ugly. If you look at Ross Taylor today for New Zealand, Chris Broad was all over him like a rash.
Stuart Broad,
but the point is, he played and he missed, and he played and he missed, but he stayed there. He's now 46 not out. Now the point is, he realized that, the bowlers on top, and they're, if I stay here another hour, I've won the battle. And he did.
Correct.
And that is what we needed to do. We needed to bat long, bat ugly, made 60. If three of them made 60, we would have been 200 odd and in a chance of doing much better. Why I said the other bowler was needed, because if you looked at the situation when the Kock was having a go, our bowling looked rather pedestrian. And that is why we needed that bit of pace to get rid of people like Nokia. And that's where we lost the plot. We had 4 spinners. Do you know that Blackwood bowls a bit of off spin? The captain bowls off spin. You have Cornwall bowling off spin. You have Chase bowling off spin, and it's all the same type. You know what I mean? There's no variety.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're absolutely right, and that's something I think that the selectors will have to look at going into the second test, particularly if you have someone like Kashad Gabriel that is fit. What will the composition be? But we're going to discuss that when we come back on tour. We're going to also talk to Quinton de Kock to find out how he felt about that innings of 141 not out. Stay with us.
To the top, it's time to jump up, people, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hand. It's time to the top, it's time to jump up, people, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hand.
We're back on tour. Of course, we're going to have a resumption pretty soon. Just to remind you of the scores, the West Indies 97 and 82 for 4. The South Africans 322. The man of the day, player of the day so far on day 2 was undoubtedly Quinton de Kock.
How satisfying was that century?
Yeah, it was quite satisfying. Obviously, I was just wanting to get out there and just bat time. The runs I thought were going to come at some point. And just to be able to stay out there and just get the team into a strong position, obviously quite satisfying.
So you were 4-0 out overnight. Your mindset this morning when you arrived, you got a couple of balls first up which you put away, 2 boundaries in that first over. That kicked you off beautifully.
Yeah, I was just trying to get myself into strong positions in the start. Obviously, I knew the ball was going to be moving around. So obviously just make sure I was in strong positions. Obviously just try and put the bad balls away. And then, that was just the mindset this morning.
You celebrated your 50 and also your 100 in the same way with that the 3 fingers. Just explain exactly what that was about.
It's just a friend group I have back home. Obviously, I think a couple of people know I'm doing this initiative with the rhino conservation. It's just got to do with them. One of my friends got his finger shot off in Afghanistan. I said I'll salute one. If I ever get to Accolade, I'll salute him. And first game back, and that's what happened. I'm sure when I get back to the phone, I'm sure he'll be going crazy about it.
I'm sure he will. And how much time do you spend with the rhino conservation?
I've spent some time. It's been a little bit difficult with the cricket and and COVID and all that. But I try and get there when I can. Obviously, it will be quite a long time until I get there again, but they keep me up to date and I still stay in contact with everyone.
So, Quinny, you were free to the captaincy. I mean, how beneficial do you think that was in respect to the 100 today?
To be fair, I haven't changed my mindset on anything, whether I was captain or now. I was just trying to do my job, just get the job that was needed at hand, irrespective, well, I feel irrespective, captaincy or no captaincy. But yeah, in saying that, I was keeping up to date with Dean from the side, keep the communication, just making sure I'm up to their standards, so that is it.
So there's quite a long time between Test match 100 number 5, 20 months in fact, between today, number 6, but let's not forget the terrific one-day performances in the meantime, so there were still some great hundreds and performances for South Africa. The fact that you weren't getting Test match hundreds, is that concerning at all for you?
Not to an extent. I think, obviously, because we haven't played a lot of Test matches, I think, it didn't get as many opportunities, I guess, as the other teams do. Obviously I had a lot of 50s that I didn't score hundreds from. That was getting irritating, but then I think that was in two years ago. So from there till now, it's obviously been Test cricket. We haven't played a lot of it. So yeah, it's just nice to come back and actually get one.
Okay, so 2 days of really strong control in this Test match right now.
Yeah, we're doing really well. Obviously, we bat ourselves into a good position, and then our bowlers came out, were aggressive, hit the mark. I thought they bowled really well. The wicket is getting up and down now by the looks of it. And then obviously all the movement, there's a lot of swing around. So just got to make sure we stay on it and just keep the standards high, and I'm sure we'll be all right.
Well done there, Quinton de Kock. As we wrap up, let's get the thoughts from the three gentlemen. Tino Best, we'll start with you first of all. How do you see it on day 3? What must the West Indies do, and what do you expect from South Africa?
Look, from the West Indies perspective, bat ugly as the Clay said. Hanging there, fight it out, get past the first over. As West Indies lose any wickets in the first over, Barry can see this finishing by lunchtime. For South Africa, they're going to look to get wickets in that first over. That first over is going to be critical for both teams. And as a West Indian, I hope Roston score 100. I hope Blackwood score 100. And I hope we take it into the 4th day.
Yeah, I also hope that Christmas comes tomorrow. But Johnny Barrett, how do you realistically see it going into day number 3?
It's likely to be a pretty tough day, you feel. I mean, to be honest, for the West Indies to get South Africa to bat again would be a huge achievement from this position. They've been behind the 8 ball since the toss. And to be honest, I expect South Africa to drive home a very firm advantage and a 1-0 advantage in this Test series, either just before lunch or just after lunch tomorrow.
So, Clive Lloyd?
Yes, well, it's obvious that we are behind. The last 2 days, we've been behind the 8th ball. Let's hope that the guys can put them, can sort of show some grit and determination and try and bat as long as possible, because the first 2 hours would be very important. And if they can just weather the storm and make South Africa bat again, they would have done extremely well. This game is a game of great uncertainty, and I am sure that they're looking forward to sort of getting fairly big scores, because I'm sure that the vice captain, Mr. Blackwood, will continue to play shots. That's his game, and he says he plays his cricket like he lives. So it will be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. But at the moment, South Africa is in the ascendancy.
Thank you so much, Sir Clive Lloyd, Johnny Barrett, and Tino Best. We're going to have a resumption in just a minute. But gentlemen, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we see how the West Indies and South Africa shape up after the first test. I'm assuming that is going to go into day number 4. For On Tour, I'm Barry Wilkinson. Bye-bye, and see you tomorrow.
West Indies. We are the West Indies. That's right. We are the West Indies. Turn it up to the top. It's time to jump up, people. people, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hand. It's time to party.